Welcome to Childcare Rockstar Radio. I am your host, Kris Murray. Childcare leaders around the globe are breaking through challenges, leading the way in innovation, testing new best practices, and impacting children and families in a much more powerful and positive way than ever before. Each week, join me for interviews with early childhood leaders and experts that will leave you inspired to become the next childcare rockstar. Now, let's go. This is episode 95 of Childcare Rockstar Radio, featuring me, Kris Murray. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I am Kris Murray, your host. And in this episode, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. It's just myself, and I coming to you in this episode 95 as a 2020 year in review. We want to dig into this year and really look at what happened. What insights did we gain? What did we learn, y'all? How did we pivot, even though we kind of hate that word now, don't we? How did we innovate? How did we turn lemons into lemonade? Truly, starting in mid-March of this crazy year, the year of the pandemic, 2020. And I am going to reveal to you some predictions that I got wrong. I'm going to reveal to you a statement of controversy, potentially, and a look back. I'm going to walk through some of the biggest accomplishments that we've had as an industry and as a tribe, both personally and professionally, and share with you some my top 3 insights about the year that we've all lived through and the year that we have coming up. And this episode is being released the last few days of 2020. It's very exciting. So today, if you're listening to this live upon release of this brand new episode, it is December 30th or December 31st. Happy New Year. Happy 2021. And we are kicking 2020 goodbye. And I know that in people's homes, because they won't be able to be out and about on the streets celebrating New Year's Eve, people will be going a little crazy with happiness and joy, I think, to kick 2020 in the ass. Can I just say it? And hold hands and hugs with our loved ones as we embrace a new year and a new season. So with that, let me first take you through some celebrations, or just kind of a year in review, if you will. Allow me to walk back through time with you and come along on this journey with me. It's going to be kind of fun talking about what we experienced together. And it certainly is not the year that we thought we were going to have, right? We started it all with a masterclass that I taught in early January called New Decade, New You. And it was all about the goal setting process that I take myself and my team through and my company every single year at this time of year. I am working on my personal goals, my professional goals, my marketing and sales plan, and my business plan for 2021 is completed as of the taping of this show. And already have shared it with my leadership team and gotten their blessing, and everybody's on the same page with where we're headed in 2021 for the business, which is a best practice that I strongly recommend that you follow. It is extremely game-changing and wonderful to get all of your leaders on the same page, and also sharing some of those pieces with your entire team, I think is not a bad idea, so that everybody knows where this ship is headed. Where's this bus a-going? And having a clear direction, having clarity and focus, everybody rowing in the same direction, everybody's feet moving the bus in the same direction. Thank you, Ron Clark. We will all benefit from that. So as a leader, as an owner, you definitely want to set that in motion if you have not done so already, is put your marketing priorities, your business priorities, your goals in a document that is written clear and has set priorities for your team, and then review it with your leadership team as soon as possible so that you can drive into January with a clear vision. So that is on your homework list if you have not done that. So I do that every single year, the last week of December. And even this year, I did it earlier. We actually did the plan the first week of December. We had a marketing retreat with all the marketing folks on our team, which we have 5 full-time marketing team members. And they were all in a one-day retreat with me on December 4th and December 3rd. And then that enabled them to come to their new year prepped, educated, understanding, and being able to then leverage where we were headed with each other and all the work that they're doing. So it's an amazing thing to just share all of these, share your time, the gift of time, the vision, the clarity of focus, the priorities, the plan with the team that's actually doing the work. And you will be amazed at the amount and speed at which things can get done. So that's where we started it in 2020, unbeknownst to us what was going to happen, right? New decade, new you. That just blew up in our faces, kind of, but kind of not. And I'm going to get back to that. Then we ran the best Academy live meeting ever in Buckhead, Atlanta. So awesome at the Buckhead Westin. And we did a great 3-day meeting for our members with a 70s dance party. Vernon Mason was there as our guest speaker, and so much fun. Couldn't even have made it any better. So we squeezed every ounce of goodness out of each other in our tribe in late January 2020. Still rolling. Heard some grumblings about what was going on in China with the Wuhan virus, but we were bulletproof. We were going after it. We were excited. We were going to grab this year and just, squeeze everything good out of it. Well, and then in February, we started getting a little bit more nervous, remember? And then I attended with my daughter my very first dance competition. It was in Denver, and it was a huge dance convention with thousands of little girls aged 3 through 23. Just amazing, the level of dance that was going on at that show. And my daughter had her costumes, and she was excited and nervous. And we think she had COVID during that time. She got really, really, really sick at that convention, and was a respiratory thing, and had a really bad cough, and had a really bad sore throat, and just bad chest congestion, and almost lost her voice. So she may have had an early version of COVID, or, who knows what was going on there in Denver. But we have heard reports since that time that there have been studies that have shown that the coronavirus was in our country way earlier than we even suspected. Whether or not that's actually true, but I have seen news reports to that effect as early as, I'm thinking, like Thanksgiving of 2019. Fast forward 2 weeks from there, March 13th is the date that we here in our county had lockdown. On or around March 13th, we had full quarantine coming into place. The ski resorts closed here in Colorado and elsewhere around the United States and Canada, worldwide. And I kind of refer to it as the day the music died. We were just, beyond sadness of what was going to happen to our world. We were fearful. We were afraid for each other's lives. We were afraid that we were going to lose our loved ones. We didn't know what would happen. We were very, very scared about the economy, and we faced March with heavy hearts, and on it went. Into April, May, and June, we did 4 or 5 extremely high attended webinars. We had the highest attended Facebook Lives in history, the history of our business, that is. There was over 1,000 people on live with me on my channel. And if you go to facebook.com/childcare business and you scroll down to late March, early April, you'll see those, and so on and so forth. And we jumped into helping folks secure their PPP funds. Many of us had to pivot because we attempted to go through large banks that ended up having huge amounts of applications and red tape. And turns out that the small banks The small community banks were able to be much more nimble, at least in my own experience. So I pivoted away from my large corporate bank where I do the majority of our business banking. And I opened a new account with a tiny local neighborhood bank. And they secured my PPP in basically 72 hours. The money was in my account. Might not have been quite that fast, but it was darn fast. Meanwhile, lo and behold, I'd been waiting for 3 weeks with my commercial bank. So I talked about that story with some media, journalists, people that interviewed me as an expert in the niche. And we actually had some stats to report around, what percentage of our members applied for and received their PPP versus the EIDL versus other funding, et cetera, et cetera. So I was very, very involved in that whole funding component, as you may recall. And then also in March, I applied for, not knowing where we would land, but the Inc. 5000. I went to Inc.com and thought this could be my year. Why not? And applied for the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies in America. And they require you to do a 3-year look back on your financials and report and upload your financials and report a certified number of where your revenue was 3 years ago versus where it was in 2019. And so based on some early math that I did, I was estimating that I think that we were going to land on the list. I was thinking we'd be around position 4,500 maybe. Well, lo and behold, on August 12th of this year, I found out that we landed on the list. Huge professional goal of mine. Huge, huge, huge. To land at number 3764 on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies in America. And then I got to attend the Inc. 5000 conference and meet Mark Cuban and meet Jim Quick of the book Limitless, all about how to improve your brain's performance, and so many other speakers. Oh, Marshall Goldsmith. I got to meet Marshall and chit chat with him. So good. So good. I got engaged on June 13th. That was a highlight, of course. And Charlie took me over to our condo in Crested Butte, and we stayed there to celebrate his birthday on June 12th. And then the next day we went on a hike, and the ring was pulled out of the backpack. Unbeknownst to me, I was completely, I wouldn't say shocked, but I was quite surprised. I was not expecting it at all. So then we ran down the hill, engaged, giggling like little schoolgirls because we were in the middle of a hailstorm. And that was quite memorable. And I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. So yeah, he asked me under a stand of aspen trees, looking out at my favorite lake, Long Lake in Crested Butte, Colorado, gorgeous, nestled between two peaks. And he asked me right then and there in the middle of a hailstorm, because it was the moment. He seized the moment. I love that. So we got engaged. We bought our house, our beautiful river home that was my dream home that just came from a prayer. I prayed and prayed and prayed for this house, and it showed up the day that we were going to make a decision on other houses. And then this one just showed up. First day on the market. We snapped it right up. We made an offer, full price offer, same day, and got it. And I was not going to let that dream go by, believe you me. We closed on July 1. We moved on July 3rd. And it has been an amazing ride to be in that home together. I tell you, I have loved it. I have loved it. We're in the process of remodeling it now, and we're going to have a complete master bathroom remodel starting on January 4th. Tear out all of the existing fixtures and completely redo the whole thing from the studs. So I'm very excited about a lot of remodeling is going to go on in that house in 2021. And then July 18th to August 1st, the 6 of us, so Charlie and myself and our 4 teenagers, spent 2 weeks at the bottom of the Grand Canyon from the put-in at Lee's Ferry, 226 miles. And 14 amazing days together. And the teens bonded, and we met other families and made friends, and it was the biggest blast ever. It was very hot, as you can imagine. It was temperatures of 110, 115 degrees. Luckily, the water is nice and cold, so we were able to stay cool with our sarongs and the whole thing. So we spent 2 weeks on the river. That was a huge dream of mine, through the Grand Canyon. And then we are, now into the holiday season. Fast forward through the Child Care Success Summit. I got to meet Simon Sinek. I got to meet Trent Shelton, as did all of you, and experience talking to one of the guys that I'm most admiring of in the leadership space, which is Mr. Simon Sinek. So that was a personal dream of mine, meeting him. And we pulled off the highest rated summit in the history of childcare success summits, y'all. Highest overall attendee rating of any summit ever in the history. And it was the only virtual one we've ever done. So that was no small feat. And I think you needed it. I think that our tribe and our industry needed it more than ever. And so we came together and we had the most amazing experience for 3 days there in mid-October. And then just a few other highlights I wanted to share. And really, I mean, this podcast is a best of 2020. And then I'm going to share my 2020 insights and talk about a prediction that I totally got wrong, and then share something controversial. But I really want you, as I'm going through this timeline too, to be reflecting on your life. When you started in January and you were going to grab it as a new decade, new you, potentially, alongside myself. And then we got hit, we got slammed, we got just taken broadside from our lives. And many of you may have lost loved ones. And for that, I am just eternally sorry. And I'll send you my heartfelt sadness if you had that this year. Just a very, very difficult season. We're into now 300,000 lost Americans due to this virus. And it's still going to rage among us for a little while. And some light at the end of the tunnel. I'll talk about that here shortly. But what are your highlights? What did you experience that you never thought possible? How did you innovate, shift, or pivot your thinking, your mindset, your team? How you delivered services? How did your money land? So many things happened that we could never have predicted. And so I just wanted you to take a minute along with me on this final podcast of 2020 and reflect, because reflection is really important for us as leaders and human beings and moms and dads to understand and seek to have some clarity about what happened, and also be okay with and forgive yourself about some things that might have happened. And we're not perfect. We are imperfect human beings born that way. And I have made some mistakes for sure this year, but I forgive myself. And I think it's important for you to let go of those things. I don't hold on to hardly anything that doesn't serve me for very long. I let it go, and I make a practice of letting go quickly. That's what good leaders and smart entrepreneurs, successful people do. By and large, that's the habit that I see that differentiates people who are able to achieve huge things in their life versus people who stay small or grapple for years and years with the same challenges. It's just the letting go of things. And so I'll invite you to reflect along with me on this timeline and find the joys, find the challenges you thought were insurmountable, and you mounted them anyway. You did it. You did it. You survived this crazy ass year. You did. So I want to give you a shout out. Some other quick things just to shout out. We launched our very first leadership mastery course this year in February. That was fantastic. Leadership mastery for early educators. And my marketing right-hand gal, Cindy Alexander, helped me launch that. And she and I wrote that course together. We authored that course and co-hosted the content. We then gave out from that course a Change the World Award, and Beth Davis won that award from Kids for Kids in Miami, Florida. So shout out to you, Beth. And we sent her trophy and we celebrated her at the summit, Change the World Award. And she has impacted so many teachers and leaders in the state of Florida with what she's learned from that course. So I feel very blessed. Every little piece of goodness that I know about leadership, nothing more, nothing less, was put into that course intentionally. So I'm very, very proud of that course. We did an enrollment bootcamp challenge, a 5-week challenge with the enrollment bootcamp training course. And Rachel Miliaka from Grace Lutheran Preschool and Early Childhood Center, she won that along with her daughter, Rosie. So Rachel and Rosie, shout out to you, great ladies, for winning enrollment bootcamp. And they grew their enrollment by, I don't remember, it was like 19 kids or something. And they are now in the academy doing amazing things for their communities. And we hired 4 new amazing team members in our company. We grew our company by 35% in revenue year over year in a COVID year. Like how the heck did we do that? Well, we doubled down. We worked really, really hard to bring value to you and to our communities. And it showed up. You guys showed up in coaching. You joined the academy in droves, and we grew by 35% this year. And we surpassed 250 members in the academy. And we also implemented our first 5-day online challenge. And we had 225 people take part in our first big online challenge, 5 days to 5 figures. So with that, I'm going to take a quick segue away from the best of 2020 until I'm going to share with you my 3 big insights about this past year next. But speaking of challenges, I wanted to let you know that I am hosting another online challenge starting on January 4th. It's called 6 Figures in 7 Days. Transform your fear into financial freedom. From fear to financial freedom with Kris Murray and friends. And in that 7-day challenge, we are going to literally spend 1 hour a day together. And I'm going to give you homework assignments every day, not overly taxing. It's going to be 100% free. It's a free challenge. It's my foundational methods, the 7 steps that you need to take in your roadmap to success to set you up for a lifetime of success and maximum revenue and maximum staff and culture happiness and great leadership. And that is going to take place, again, you can learn more at krismurraychallenge.com. Starting on January 4th is when we kick off. So you're going to be able to go to krismurraychallenge.com starting on actually a couple days ago, December 28th, depending on when you're listening to this. The first week of January is going to be incredible. And I'm giving away the best of all of my trainings, my learnings, the things that I need to cement into your brain and your heart are going to be given to you, and then they will show up in your pocketbook, in your bank account, because it's 6 figures in 7 days. And I'm going to show you how to add 6 figures or more to your school's revenue in just 7 days, guys. It's going to be insanely powerful. I have new guest speakers. I have new fresh content, and a free workbook goes with it, and prizes. And speaking of prizes, with this challenge, one lucky challenge participant will be the winner of a $5,000 STEAM lab for your preschool. That's right. You heard it here first. A $5,000 STEAM lab is going to be given away as the grand prize during this challenge, as well as courses, laser coaching sessions with me, trainings, books, food, wine, probably some ice cream, anything that we can ship to you. I might be shipping out some lobsters. So it's good. We're going to feed you. We're going to have a blast. We're going to learn. We're going to be engaged with each other. You're going to meet new friends in the industry, and you'll have a chance to win a $5,000 STEAM lab, and it's all free. If that's not enough to excite you for 2021, I don't know what is. I'm on fire about this. So please join me at chrismurraychallenge.com. Okay. Hope I don't have to twist your arm on that one because it seems like kind of a no-brainer, guys. Now, I'm going to give you my big oopsie, as my daughter calls it. She goes, Mom, I made an oopsie. I'm like, uh-oh, what'd you do now? My big oopsie, my big very wrong prediction for 2020. Do you guys want to hear it? So I actually said on a webinar in April, I want to say, I said, I believe this pandemic will be over in 6 to 8 weeks and life will go back to normal. Yep, I admit it. I was dead wrong on this prediction. I tend to be a little bit of an optimist. You, me, Simon Sinek, we're all optimists. Maybe not you, but I sometimes that my optimism, my idealism gets me in trouble. And in this case, I was thinking we would all have exposure to each other in the world somehow, and that we would all get somehow very quickly exposed to this virus, and it would just work its way through society and it would be gone. It would move along somehow in 6 to 8 weeks. I'm not a scientist, obviously. And at that time, nobody knew because the science wasn't even developed yet. But I do have to say and admit that my friend Ron McGuckin over at AELL and at childproviderlaw.com, and he's been a speaker and he's a dear friend, and I respect him highly, but he went on a webinar for AELL and he goes, well, we're going to be with this for probably the next year to 18 months, this pandemic. And not only that, we're going to have a little spike, and then we're going to have a worse spike. If the Spanish flu is any indication, Ron said, we will have another much more deadly spike of this thing in the fall/winter. And I'm like, oh, please, that's not happening, Ron McGuckin. He doesn't know anything. He's not a scientist. He's a lawyer. He can't predict this. Quit making everybody so fearful, Ron. Cut it out. You're making everybody freak out in our industry. Well, who was right? Mr. Ron McGuckin, you were right. I'm here to tell you. And I was very, very wrong. So that was my big oopsie, but it is what it is. And however, reflecting on that, we learned so much about ourselves through this pandemic that, dare I say, I'm almost glad that it was a longer issue because we learned so much resilience and strategies for how to cope. So that segues me into my top 3 insights about this past year, about 2020. So insight number 1, let me share with you, is that we are all way tougher than we thought we were. Way, way tougher. We are made of a lot of resilience and grit. I know about you, but I had to dig down deep and really peel away some layers, and had to work with some clients who were just so tearful and sad and afraid. And we all joined in, and we are a lot tougher than we realized. Do you agree with me? So that's my insight number 1 on this pandemic. Insight number 2, hope you're not mad at me on this one, but insight number 2 is the world may have and likely needed to hit the reset button. We actually needed this pandemic. Case in point, I was talking the other day to childcare owner Kim Lannon, from Massachusetts. Hey, Kim, shout out to you. She and I work out together on the Peloton. And we were sharing some stories, and she was getting my advice and getting some coaching from me the other day. And she goes, well, when we were together in Buckhead in January, I went over to the mall. They have a fabulous upscale mall just down the street from the Westin where we stayed. And she goes, I put my face in the window of Louis Vuitton, the Louis Vuitton store. And I couldn't believe what I saw, Kris. She goes, literally, it was January 30th, and people were going nuts in there. There was security. There was a line. People couldn't get in there. It was packed full of human beings. People were almost arguing and pulling bags at each other. Like they were like going, that's mine. I want that one. Like this is Black Friday style behavior going on at Louis Vuitton, one of the highest end stores on the planet. These are $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 handbags, guys, and luggage. And Kim's like, she goes, I'm not going in there. That looks like a zoo. It looks like a nightmare. What is going on in the world? How can we be so materialistic? Like, it was crazy. And she's like, I really knew at that moment that was this kind of a weird sign that something was going to happen. She goes, I got this weird gut feeling that we needed to be taken down a notch. We as humans had gotten a little bit big for our britches. We have been moving so fast ever since the birth of the internet in 1995, roughly. We have been moving at the fastest pace and never have taken a breath. And so the pandemic, 2020, provided us with a much needed breath. We were forced to hang out and do puzzles. I did 4 puzzles with my daughter. It was awesome, actually. We drank tea, drank some wine. We stayed in, we watched movies, we, binged Netflix, and we reconnected with each other. So I think the world needed this reset. So that's insight number 2, whether you agree with me or not, but I believe it. And there are documented examples of animals also coming out onto the planet. That wasn't just made up internet stuff. That was real experiences of wildlife, marine life, bird life, and other animals that came out to say, wow, the humans are taking a rest. This is interesting. There's no noise. There's no pollution. We can see the sunsets in China again. Like, this is an amazing thing. Where's all the cars? So that's insight number 2. And then insight number 3 is actually a prediction. So I believe that 2021 is actually going to be epic. I believe that starting in January, we are going to see unprecedented levels of enrollment across preschools. And it might not happen in a big wave. It's likely going to happen. My prediction is it's going to happen in a steady upward curve, a slow, middle to slow, but steady upward curve. And so January is the perfect time for you to get into this challenge with me and get energized and taught, get reskilled in your capabilities in leadership, in attracting staff candidates, because you're going to need to staff up, and in your marketing and enrollment techniques and tactics. And we're going to find all those little, I call them your leaky bucket, the holes in your leaky bucket. So we're going to discover where you have leaks in your buckets around enrollment and money management and leadership and culture and hiring and team. And we're going to plug those holes. That's what we're going to do together on this challenge. And most of all, when we're plugging those holes in your leaky bucket, we're going to be working on mindset. So the mindset piece is, again, the strongest piece, the most important piece across the whole thing is to set your goals, work on your limiting beliefs and your self-talk, and really believing that you are capable of and that you deserve the highest level of success that you can dream about, even beyond anything that you could dream, because you are one of God's creatures and you deserve it. But a lot of us are carrying around stories of not enough. And so we're going to dive into this challenge as well, trying to help you leave that story of not enough on the curb, kick it to the curb. And let's go into 2021 and really, really put this year behind us, but carry lessons along with us that we learned from the last 9 months together. Okay, so that's what I'm doing with my team, with my business, with my life. And I'm going to invite you to do that arm in arm with me during this challenge. And you can learn more at krismurraychallenge.com. So my final piece of this prediction is, with 2021 being epic, unprecedented levels of growth are available for you. All you have to do is tap into it. Enrollment. I'm going to give you all the stuff that works in marketing, helping you. And it's going to be a gradual climb, but mark my words as a prediction, we will climb out of this. And I do believe that we are going to experience another roaring 20s. Another roaring 20s. You heard it here first. I also think the world will be grateful to actually get on an airplane and be able to travel again, to actually be able to go to a concert and experience a concert again, to actually be able to go to a museum and stand next to a stranger and stare at a painting and not worry about social distancing. That's all coming. It might take another 6 to 12 months, but it's coming. And as the world knows it's coming, we will be grateful, we will be joyful, and we will jump back into life like nobody's business, because we'll be alive. We'll be like, I'm here, I am breathing, I'm going for it. I'm not going to let anything stop me now, and I'm not going to let anybody tell me otherwise. I'm not going to take life for granted any longer. And so I believe that spirit will carry forward into our businesses. And I'm looking forward to it very much and celebrating that with you, experiencing that with you. I do believe that the vaccine will be a big part of that. I am personally planning on getting the vaccine as soon as it arrives in my town, and I'm available to take it, to get it. You do have to get a booster, so don't forget to schedule and get your boosters with this vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine. And that is my statement of controversy. If you're an anti-vaxxer, I want you to know, I don't believe all of this malarkey about that it changes your DNA and Bill Gates is going to be tracking us because they're going to put a chip in our bodies. And there's so many crazy ass rumors out there about the vaccine. And I respect you as an anti-vaccine person, but I don't agree with you. So I'm taking a stand for vaccines. I'm pro-vaccine. I've vaccinated my children, vaccinated myself, and I believe in vaccines. I actually had scarlet fever from mumps because we didn't have the mumps vaccine when I was little. I was born in 1966. And so I got mumps, I got scarlet fever. And due to that, when I was 6 years old, I got a cyst on my throat, and then they removed the cyst and they took my thyroid gland with it. So I have no thyroid. I've been on thyroid medication, synthetic, ever since I was 6 years old, which is fine. But I'm telling you that I believe in the strength in general of our amazing health system and in vaccines. Because if I'd been able to get the mumps vaccine just a few years later, it started being widely spread, I believe, because I have friends that got it and they're just a couple years younger than me. I would still have my thyroid gland, guys. So yes, there may be weird ties and we don't know about the autism, all that, but it's neither here nor there. I believe in vaccines. I'm saying that. I know it's controversial. I don't care. This is my podcast, and I'm just telling you right now, you can be an anti-vaxxer and you could say, I'm not getting the vaccine. And that's a shame, in my opinion, because I believe that we should all get vaccinated and let's all go into this world with that level of health. And this could completely come back and bite me in the butt, this statement, because For all I know, something terrible could happen with the vaccine. I don't think it's going to. And people will come back to me and be like, I can't believe you said that. But this is what I believe in. I believe in science. I believe in our medical, just our system, our healthcare system. There's a lot of it that's broken, but I believe that we have access to the best level of health care in the world in its history. And I believe in getting vaccinated. So I just wanted to say that. Didn't have to, but it is a controversial statement. And I respect you for your beliefs. If you disagree with me, let's agree to disagree. But yes, I'm not gonna agree with it, with the anti-vaccine movement. So that's where I'm at. That's where I sit, just so you know. I believe in being open and honest. So with that, I believe that we are going to have an incredible 2021, and I cannot wait to live and watch it happen. So God willing, I'll be able to just experience that and all the goodness that's going to come our way. I hope you enjoyed this episode. This was my 2020 year in review. I've never done one of these before, but I felt like I was called to do it, putting it down in history, putting it in the books, and sharing with you my top 3 insights, sharing with you the year in review, accomplishments, so many accomplishments. This has been my year of the accomplishment, from new house, new fiance, river trip, Inc. 5000, learned how to do pottery, personal, professional goals. Got to watch my son graduate from high school. That was probably the best one of the list. They were all really good. All really, really good. But yeah, and then got to take Owen to college up in Wyoming. So with all of that, it's just been an incredible year. It really, really has. And thank you for being part of it. If you, are in the academy or you work with me in coaching, I just want to say I'm grateful for you. And if not, I hope that we get to meet someday. I hope that you come to our summits. The 2021 summit is going to be live and in person. And I can't tell you yet where it's going to be, but it's going to be someplace really, really good. So stay tuned for that announcement. That'll be coming in a couple months, and we'll start selling tickets to that 10th anniversary Childcare Success Summit 3-day conference, the world's largest business conference, period, the end. Thanks so much. This has been Kris Murray here on episode 95 of Childcare Rockstar Radio with 2020. The year in review. What an incredible year. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care and God bless. And we'll see you next time.